Well, true to form, these Chinese guitars ultimately over time start showing their flaws. God, I gotta stop saying so much. This guitar, as beautiful as it looks, I've come across a few things that are pretty disturbing. I'm not sure exactly how to proceed with a lot of this because as nice as this guitar looks, it has a major problem. This bridge. This bridge is, for lack of a better term, pretty shitty. The problem being that the action, being able to raise and lower the action on this is pretty limited. And if you look here, you can see these pegs here. This design is just straight stupid. These pegs right here, there's a frame that this sits on underneath the guitar. You can't see it, I'd have to take it off. These, it looks just like a normal, like a Floyd Rose post, but you can't actually lower it. It's part of the actual frame that this bridge sits on. So this screw, you actually can't turn it. It's like, you know, when they cast the frame, they cast the screw, and this little knife edge here sits on it. And you can see how high it is, how high off the body. Right in here, right there. See that? That is way too high. And unfortunately, I can't lower the whole bridge to lower the action, because if you look at the action here on the 12th fret, it's hard to do this while holding a phone. If you look at this action, I mean, look at how high it is back here. Look at how high that is off the guitar. Look at that. Way too high. And then if I lower it, if I lower these saddles, and what happens is the action stays high, but then back here on the other frets I get buzzing. So I actually checked the truss rod, and an easy way to do that, if you guys don't know, you fret the first fret, and then you fret the 24th fret, and then you should have at least a little bit of relief on the 12th fret here, just like very little, just like that much. But when I fret this, the 1st and the 24th fret, it's actually flat right against the neck, which means there's no relief. But the conundrum is if I put relief into the neck, then I've raised the action. And since I'm limited on the amount of action I can lower back here, to put relief in the neck just almost compounds a problem. So another thing I've also run into is this nut up here. This design is stupid. This is just the stupidest part of the whole thing. What happens is your string runs through here, then it runs under these locking bolts here, just like on a Floyd Rose, and then the string actually comes out the back here. Problem with a lot of this setup here is if I cut these strings off, then they're like little, these things are sharp as hell, and they're gonna, you know, I grab it wrong, it's gonna puncture my hand. So cutting off the strings like that, then you have a bunch of string ends hanging out, which isn't good. And to lock this nut down here, I actually had to grind it. This is why it's a different color. I had to grind off at least like a millimeter to get this screw back into to thread back in. Whoever threaded this in the beginning must have put like an immense amount of weight on it, because when I took the bolt out, there's actually like shavings from the threading, so I was like pulling out part of the threading. So I've gone ahead and ordered a whole new nut here. I'm going to replace this whole thing with just a brand new one. You can see on the edge here it's not flush. It's not sitting flush. The other side is. You can see it sits off a little bit. So the whole, actually I found that later, I have some dents right by the fret. This whole bridge system is bad, really bad. And it's a shame because I love playing this guitar. And then they'll have these little gaskets back here that like sit. Let me try to focus in. Right here you can see one of them. right there. That kind of provides like a cushion between the screw and then the bridge right here. But when you clamp them down, they start getting pushed out. One of them actually broke. Right here on the E-string, it actually broke. So when you tighten it, you're just tightening in this bolt against the back of the bridge instead of having some type of like a O-ring there to kind of dampen it. So that, you know, is something to be aware of. And I did change the strings because when I first got it, I was trying to tune it and then my high E string broke. So I put some new strings on it. And I would guess that they're probably the same 9s, because I didn't go up to like 10 or anything, because I don't want to. Usually people don't just put 10s on a guitar. If you do, you have to adjust the truss rod if it's lower than that. But oh man, I am just not sure what to do. I mean, I can live with high action. It's not, you know, not the end of the world. I just have to get used to playing it. But word of caution to any of you that are looking on Aliexpress or wherever to buy a headless guitar and you see this overlord of music, I would advise to stay away from it, because it should be the other way around. Like on my other guitar over here, this system's a lot better. First of all, because you have the actual ball end of the string here, you don't have anything cutting out, and then down here it just winds around a peg. And this is a lot better system, in my opinion. Actually, if I was to go back in time and change everything, I'd just put like a fixed bridge on it, like my NK had, instead of trying to get floating trim. I don't know why I'm stuck on the stupid ass floating trims. But that's the update. As far as the guitar plays amazing. I mean, these pickups are great. Like I said before, it's very resonant. Sounds really good, especially with new strings. Looks nice. But this right here, this overlord of music, is no bueno. So, word of caution. See you later.